Square Cow Countdowns. I'm Slash Raptor, and I've come back from the dead to arrange this countdown. I like to call it the top 10 ugliest undead characters. Now let's get on with the rules before I try to eat your brains, even though I'm just a disembodied voice. These characters can be from movies, TV shows, or video games, but I have to have played or watched the source material, and like the last list, I can only have one character per franchise. Also, the whole ugly thing is completely irrelevant. I just felt like having an alliterative title. It basically boils down to which ones are my favorite characters, and I thought it sounded cool. Keep in mind that this list is mostly based on my own personal opinion, which will probably be different from your opinions. If you agree with me, great, tell me about it in the comments. And if you don't agree with me, well then tell me about that too. Right after I eat your brains. Okay, I'm kidding. My craving for brains is passing, but my craving for ranking things will never stop. So let's get this countdown going so I can get started ranking something else. Number 10, Cervantes de Leon. I don't know much about the lore of Soul Calibur, but I do know that Cervantes is undead. He probably sold his soul to Soul Edge, or maybe it just straight up stole his soul. I'm pretty sure Cervantes is Ivy's father, but other than that, yeah, I got nothing. Even if you play the campaign modes in these games, you don't really learn anything. But anyway, Cervantes is a pirate with 2 swords, and that's pretty cool. Number 10, Cervantes. Done deal. Yeah. Number 9, Imhotep. Because of how incredible the live-action George of the Jungle movie is, no, not that one. That's the sequel with the kid from 2.5 Men. No, not that one either. I said live action. Thank you. I went through a phase in my youth where I was obsessed with Brendan Fraser and instinctively sought out as many of his movies as I could, like Dudley Do-Right and The Mummy. My parents warned me about The Mummy, saying that my 7-year-old mind might be too young to handle it, but I didn't care. I watched it by myself and had nightmares. Of course, 20 years later, I'm over it. Mostly. Imhotep is pretty cool, even though he's the bad guy. I'm just impressed with how good most of the special effects are. They totally hold up. For the most part. Number 8, Scorpion. Scorpion is kind of weird. He's undead, that much we know, but sometimes he has a skull that breathes fire and sometimes he has a normal human face. He and Sub-Zero have become the de facto mascots of the Mortal Kombat franchise, since they both beat the crap out of each other in all the game trailers since Mortal Kombat 9. His iconic spear move is essentially the Hadouken of Mortal Kombat. Depending on which game you're playing, Scorpion is either an evil bastard or just a misunderstood ninja with no soul. Because of this indecisiveness, I couldn't reasonably put him any higher on the list. Wait a minute, why does he get to breathe fire? I want to breathe fire! I've been a zombie for about 12 minutes now, and I can't breathe fire! It's not fair! Number 7, the Skeleton King. The Skeleton King is a classic example of what evil can do to an otherwise good person. King Leoric, beloved ruler of Condurus, was betrayed by his most trusted advisor, Lazarus, who secretly worshipped Diablo, the Lord of Terror. Lazarus convinced Leoric to move the seat of power to the small town of Tristram, which, unbeknownst to everyone except Lazarus, was directly above Hell. In an attempt to summon Diablo, Lazarus kidnapped Prince Albrecht, Leoric's son, and then tricked the townsfolk into following him down into the labyrinth, where they were slaughtered by the Butcher. The combination of Lazarus' influence and the loss of Albrecht drove Leoric insane. He started executing anyone for any reason. His loyal knights were forced to kill him to end his madness. But with his dying breath, he swore them all into eternal fealty. Then he came back as a badass skeleton with a giant sword. The end. Number 6, Stubbs the Zombie. I remember playing this game a long time ago when it first came out, but I no longer have access to it, which is a shame because there's never been another game like it since. The only way I could play it now would be if I was to buy an Xbox. Whew, I almost couldn't bring myself to utter that horrible sentence. Let's change the subject back to something more cheery. The soundtrack for Stubbs the Zombie is cheesy and hilarious. The game takes place in the 60s, so it features songs like Lollipop, Earth Angel, and Mr. Sandman. I love it because the music doesn't suit the game at all, but they are all appropriate for the period. And get this, the fictional town that you run around in is called Punch Bowl. Punch Bowl, Pennsylvania. Why did they never make another game like this? Number 5. Liv Moore. Olivia Moore is a zombie, but she found a way to keep her humanity at the forefront by eating brains. If she was to stop, then she'd go full-on zombie. I think that might be the reason why I never really got into this show. Because Liv acts like a regular person, iZombie boils down to just another generic police procedural show. I will give it some credit though. The theme song is awesome, and the makeup and special effects are really well done. It threw me for a loop when I learned that Liv is played by Rose McIver, aka Summer Lansdowne from Power Rangers RPM. While gathering footage, I found this scene where she deep fries brains. It should be gross, but the brains look so fake that it ruins the imagery. Also, why did her hair turn white when she became a zombie? It makes it seem like a disease rather than a state of being. When people die, their hair and nails keep growing, but they don't spontaneously change color. Number 4. Arthas Menethil. Prince Arthas Menethil was once heir to the throne of Lordaeron and a skilled paladin in the Order of the Silver Hand. During the Scourge of Lordaeron, Arthas became increasingly enraged at the devastation the Undead caused, and sought to end their threat by any means necessary. This would lead him to Northrend, where he would obtain Frostmourne and kill Mal'Ganis, who he thought was in command of the Scourge. It was there that the whispers of the Lich King guided Arthas into becoming Ner'zhul's champion and the greatest of his Death Knights. Ultimately, Arthas was manipulated into sitting on the Frozen Throne, merging together with the Lich King. Arthas is a tragic hero. He wasn't evil. In fact, he was a truly selfless person. He knew that Frostmourne was cursed, but as he said, he would gladly bear any curse for the safety of Lordaeron. I like to think that Arthas died the second he claimed Frostmourne, and that after that the Lich King was just using his body as a puppet. Number 3. Eric Draven. I just recently watched this movie myself for the first time, and I'm glad I did, because it's a really good movie. In it, rock musician Eric Draven, played by Brandon Lee in his final film appearance, is resurrected by an ancient spirit of vengeance called the Crow, so that he can get revenge on the man that not only killed him, but raped and murdered his fiancée Shelley. It's a powerful story of vengeance and justice, which is somehow made even better knowing that Brandon Lee tragically died during the filming of the movie due to a faulty prop gun. It almost feels like Lee's spirit haunts every single frame of the movie. Unfortunately, with only one movie under his belt, unless you count the god-awful spin-off sequels, I couldn't justify putting Eric Draven any higher on this list, since the next two have appeared in way more episodes or movies. Number 2. Jason Voorhees. Although it wasn't officially confirmed until the 6th movie that Jason is some sort of zombie, before that we're led to believe that he drowned in the lake and then rose again to kill anyone that steps foot into Crystal Lake. Jason definitely has some sort of healing factor, but again, this isn't really confirmed until much later in the series. The final girl of each movie critically wounds Jason, but never outright kills him because he always comes back for more killing in the next movie. It gets to the point where the viewer starts to root for Jason and not the survivors. One thing that I do think is interesting is that Jason doesn't kill children. He sees them as innocent and only kills adults or teenagers that he sees as evil trespassers, and it is so much fun to watch him kill people. Well, except in the last couple movies. Those were kinda dumb, like Part 7, where the main girl has psychic powers for some reason. Number 1. Spike. The character of Spike was originally supposed to be a villain in Season 2 of Buffy who would get killed off halfway through the season and replaced by the newly unsouled Angelus. But James Marsters brings so much heart and humor to what could otherwise have been a very one-dimensional character that the writers decided not to kill him off. When he came back in Season 4, he was experimented on by the Initiative, who implanted a chip in his brain that prevents him from harming humans. Spike eventually falls in love with Buffy and effectively joins the Scoobies by the end of Season 5. But when he discovers that their relationship will never really work because he is still technically a monster, he undergoes the demon trials to earn his soul back in the finale of Season 6, which is in stark contrast to Angel, who received his soul because of a gypsy curse. Spike later crossed over into Angel for Season 5, and their rivalry is hilarious because, for the most part, Spike still acts like he always has, even though he still does have a soul, whereas Angel has a completely separate personality than Angelus, plus bonus points for this argument.
It was mostly theoretical.
We were just working out a...
Look, if cavemen and astronauts got into a fight, who would win? Oh. You've been yelling at each other for 40 minutes about this. Do the astronauts have weapons?
No.
Alright, well, now that the countdown is over, I'll be heading back into my grave. But you know, if you enjoyed this video, it probably wouldn't kill you to hit the subscribe button. But maybe you're not ready to click it yet. Maybe you want to go watch more videos first. Well, click the card to be taken to the playlist of all the other countdowns I've done before. Oh yeah, and just an FYI, I have started a Patreon account. The link will be in the description as well as on my channel page. If you like my videos and you want to help me make more videos, it would mean a lot to me if you consider pledging your support. Anyways, thanks for watching, and until next time, peace out. See ya!